Okay, Zach, you're up first today.
All right, good afternoon.
Afternoon.
First up, I have a general plan development, formerly known as a PUD, public hearing for you guys tonight. So this is known as Brixton. This is just south of the towns in North River. They are requesting to rezone. They're requesting to annex into the property. It's the Stipe property that's vacant today, as well as rezone to GPD
This
for.
is in the county too, isn't it?
Yes, sir. Yeah. For 144 single-family lots and 7 open space lots. So there's the property. I'm sure y'all are very familiar with this area. Publix is just there on the east.
The back of the town's like that too.
Yeah, McDonald's is right there as well. So yeah, as you can see here, currently in the county, they're proposing to annex and then rezone to the general plan development. So this is 57 acres. It comes out to roughly 2.5 dwelling units per acre. They are allowed 4 dwelling units per acre. They have stated on their petition that they're protecting natural open space areas. So 19 of the 57 acres are dedicated to open space. So the reason this is a GPD is because a lot of the space is unusable of the 57 acres with, and I'll show you here in a little bit. But they're also going to have some amenities such as dog parks, pickleball courts, and passive recreation. Homes are ranging from 1,800 to 3,100 square feet with a price point of $500,000 to $850,000. And then, of course, they'll have an HOA and then a design review committee as well. So here's the overall. Obviously, that's very hard to see, but I will get a little bit closer for you. So this is the northern portion of the property. Forest Oaks Lane is right there on the top of your screen. You can see kind of the topography and kind of environmental issues of this site that they're working around. But as you go to the middle portion, I'll just run through this unless y'all have any specific questions. But right there by that little football shape, that's where they're proposing those pickleball courts. And then the southern portion, which will connect to Old Colony. The standard lot sizes, so they did increase from their last proposal from 50 to 60 feet for a standard lot size, and then they do have larger estate lot sizes, which are about half an acre. These are some renderings and floor plans that they are showing for the proposed homes. There's a lot more that were in your packet, but of course, these are just some examples. What a streetscape might look like. And then Planning Commission did unanimously recommend to approve this. Do you have any questions about this one?
Zach, I got a couple questions.
Yes, sir.
First off, I do want to say that I do appreciate the engagement of the developer with the adjacent neighborhoods, like the towns especially, because there were major concerns with some of the residents about the buffer zone between those existing homes and what they were going to build, and I think they doubled it, if I recall, right?
Yes,
what was
sir.
required
40
to
feet.
40, right? 40 feet, which is really, really good. I think, and I talked with the HOA president in the towns yesterday, and I still think one of the major concerns, of course, and Mike and I've talked about this, and you and I have too, about is the opening of that street
Yes, sir.
out of the towns into there. But I guess I understand why we're having to do that. I mean, for safety reasons, but I know it was originally platted, and Mike and I, well, we've talked about this a lot, you and I have. My question about the street, and for the rest of the council, y'all to know that there is a street that is in the towns that has a gate on it. And it's been on there ever since this neighborhood has been developed. So the neighbors are concerned about when this gets built out, that gate's gonna go down, right? And
Yes, sir.
rightly, I mean, I do think that people are concerned about more cars coming in and other things, but I do, as I talked with a neighbor yesterday, 2 neighbors yesterday actually, I do think it will be a bigger convenience. I think it'll be more one way out of there than it is people probably coming in the towns, because they're gonna end up having 2 ways out, more ways out of the towns where you can come out near the Publix, you can come out on the Rice Mine, or you can come out on Ocala, right?
Yes, sir.
So I'm rambling on to get to this question, and Mike may have to answer this too, but the process of opening that gate and opening that street, I would ask, and I want to know the process, but I would ask that we do not open that until all of this is completed. And I'm assuming that would probably be because to see how this is developed, if there's any issues, anything we need to revisit, that they may not be open until the neighborhood is complete. Can that happen, Mike, or what's the process of how that works?
They haven't identified a phase one, have they?
They do. It's obviously very hard to see on this, but they have identified it.
So in general, I'm going to respond that, the other things that we've talked about with public safety and the road opening, there's also a condition on the recorded plat in the towns that stated that when Forest Oak Lane was brought to city standards, the gate would be removed and it would become an access.
Is that the road that right now is a dirt road?
Yes, sir. That is correct.
It ends up, it's from Rice Mine, it's right there where the landscaping house is, right? That goes all the way
Yes.
into the towns, but there's a gate that stops it.
Yes, sir. There's 2 or 3 residences today on the north side of that road. And I think the Forest Oak Lanes predates the Towns of North River development. Obviously, that stub that was built in the towns was directed to connect to Forest Oak Lane, and it become a city street at some time in the future.
And another outlet.
Correct.
From the neighborhood.
Yes, sir.
For safety, also for, I don't want to say convenience, but it's just another artery out of the towns, because the towns has exploded, as everybody knows. I mean, and you're probably getting closer to it being finished.
So the opening date of this connection, I would say, will happen when phase 1 is constructed and before the final plat for this first phase of Brixton is recorded and it becomes effective. At that time the gate would be removed.
So,
Doesn't need to be removed while the construction activity is going on,
right,
but
until it's finished,
yes, sir.
which probably will be how long? When would they start?
I would suspect that they would want to start this development probably midsummer. Our construction season goes real well up until late October, early November, a little bit before Thanksgiving, and then we begin to have the weather turn, the rains get a little more consistent. Most contractors prefer to be in the dry basically before that time of the year. So that would kind of be my expectation.
And how long do you think phase 1 would take to build out?
Residences?
Yeah, I mean, provided all the lots sell, which I'm sure they will, would you think? 2 years?
Yeah, I was going to say 2 years, 18 months to 2 years.
And last question on this, is the last conversations that you guys have, because I have not, are we leaning more toward local builders? Is that kind of where we are with this?
It is, yes, sir.
Not a tract home builder,
Right.
any of that?
That's right. That is one of the reasons they increased the lot size from 50 feet wide to 60 feet wide, was because the local developers the local builders that they were, reaching out to actually requested them to have larger lots so that each, they'll get more return on their development for each lot. So they've pursued local builders.
Before my compadres here lose patience with me, I have one more question. I said that was the last one, it's not. When phase 1 is done, this road will end up going all the way out to Old Colony. Is it coming out at that light that we've been talking about that would be put there at the crossings?
No, sir. This new access will be between that road that you're referring to and the intersection today at,
of the crossing.
right. If
And
you look
going
at,
into that other development, right, Mike, the other home site that's gonna be across that road.
that's the one that's called North Village.
Yeah.
And I believe it may be on the verge of getting traction and starting. They still don't have construction plan approval through my office to start construction on that neighborhood.
When does the PUD run out on that?
So it's now zoned GPD, so there is
There's no
Yeah,
time
right,
on that,
right.
or
Yeah.
time limit?
Yes, sir.
But this'll create a new intersection on Old Colony Road. And they're building appropriate turn lanes in both directions so that, left turn movement in the eastbound direction will have a lane to sit in and not disrupt the flow of traffic. Also, the westbound traffic, if you're coming in, there'll be a right turn deceleration lane that you leave the travel lane before, to slow down and turn into the neighborhood.
Mr. President, thank you. Let me ask those questions. I don't have any more questions. Others may, y'all may have some questions.
No, you covered.
57 acres, how many houses?
How many was it?
Sorry.
Phase one,
144
140?
144 total lots.
144.
Where are these people coming from? They're coming out of the rest of our districts? So where are these people coming from?
I don't have to answer his questions, do I?
They're coming from somewhere, right?
They're coming somewhere. I don't know.
All right, so
Hopefully they're new to Tuscaloosa, I hope.
there you go.
New folks.
So we have another rezoning. So this is another public hearing for you guys. This is Austin Markham, and he is trying to rezone 0.3 acres located at 2501 12th Avenue East. So this is currently SFR2, and they're going to NC, which is neighborhood commercial. So this is Mr. Fail's district. This is just south of Snow Hinton Park, kind of across from those that apartment complex there. Elmira, I think, is that subdivision just to the south. So this is on that corner there. You can see the zoning. So there is some NC on that corner, a little bit more to the east. And then that open space area where we had to do the drainage project, but primarily the rest of it is single family residential too. They're trying to rezone to construct a single story office building. So it's going to be about 1,600 square feet. Here's some examples of what this is going to look like. So in this photo, bottom of your screen is Hargrove Road, and then 12th Avenue East is on the right-hand side. And then here's some renderings. They are proposing to use hardy board siding for primarily most of it, as well as some other just typical materials for the windows and doors.
They have not contacted me. I saw this, but I have not been contacted. I don't know how I feel about it. I'm curious what the neighbors are gonna feel about it.
Yeah, so on that note, at Planning and Zoning Commission, 2 people did write in opposition. One of them I know lives in Elmira, and then the other one didn't specify where they lived, but no one else came to speak in opposition in person or anything like that. But it was actually I'll just skim through this real quick. It was recommended to approve with a vote of 5-3. So there were some concerns by some of the Planning Commission members.
I'm sure.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Fail, can I ask a question?
Sir?
Since I'm asking so many today.
He's in charge.
What were the objections to this?
So primarily traffic that's going to be coming onto that road on 12th Avenue East. It is primarily a single family local road, and so that's where their parking lot is going to be located. They are providing about 7 parking spaces. So it's going to be 1,600 square feet. It's going to be not a huge office space, but it would generate some traffic.
There's already, and I understand the traffic situation, Hargrove Road East right through there. I get a lot of complaints right through there already.
All right, this one's real quick. So this is an annexation. It's a house, 17097 North Hagler Road, and they are requesting, this is way north, clearly Mr. Fail's district, and they are requesting to annex into the city for city schools. And they are very aware that once they're in, they're in. But I can answer any questions about that one.
And they signed that paper.
Yes, sir.
Never leaves.
You can check out,
That's funny.
but you can't leave.
All right, thank you, Zach. Tony,
We probably need an ABC license here.
I think so.
All right, good afternoon, Council and Mayor. I have 3 applicants tonight. The first one is Downtown Entertainment LLC. They're applying for a special retail less than 7 days license for Emily and Hunter's 21st birthday. It's at 601 Greensboro Avenue.
This must be gonna be a blowout party.
What is 601 Greensboro?
It's the new hotel that's being built right beside the Alamite Hotel above on the corner of Greensboro
New
Avenue.
hotel being
Yes, sir.
built right beside
It's,
the
well,
Alamite.
When I say a new hotel, it's a remodeled building structure to turn into a hotel. It's called the Austin Building. Yes, sir.
I don't know yet.
And that, where is that? Where is that in its progress?
As far as
The Austin building,
yes,
that's
sir,
where it's
it's the Austin Building.
I mean, I had heard chatter that it was looking at renovation, but my memory is those floors are owned by multiple different owners. So where is that mouse in the boa constrictor right now?
Yeah, so there's been a demo application for some interior demo. Oh, my bad, I'm thinking of Insuresoft building.
Yeah, you're correct, Mr. Busby. The Alston building is individually, like each floor is owned by different individuals. They went through and turned the upper floors into residential condos. And I'm not sure where Emily and Hunter are having their 21st birthday.
When is this?
Well, apparently the alcohol will be on 601 Greensboro Avenue.
No,
We need to find out.
Seriously,
This is actually-
Are they having a party? Can we
When-
find
when-
out?
This event is actually April 17th. Brandon will be here tonight to answer those questions for you. What floor is located on?
That is kind of strange.
Yeah.
Why are we having to issue an alcohol license for a birthday party? Are they selling alcohol?
It's not. They're not selling alcohol. Well, I'm not gonna say it.
Good birthday party, kid.
Brandon them have a license to actually sell alcohol if it is for the event.
Wait, what?
Said Brandon them will have the license to sell alcohol. It is, if I'm not mistaken, do they have a rooftop location on this? So it may be in the rooftop portion of it instead of actual windows.
Not a good party if
And
you have to pay for your own drink.
The rooftop of that building is, who inspects
Surely not the
that?
Austin building.
The bats.
Who inspects,
As far as
who says it's, oh yeah, sure, it's safe, no problem, got all the safety requirements it needs, sell alcohol. Go on.
well,
Who
so
does that?
of course, when it goes through the building permitting process,
Yeah.
my office looks at that through the commercial building permit, and so
And that includes the ability to have events on the roof?
So, yes, it would have, they would, well, I'm gonna backtrack for a second on that, because having events up there, they're gonna permit it to meet a certain safety standard, and it is going to be permitted for gatherings. Whether it is, if we're making an assumption that Emily and Hunter are having their 21st birthday on the roof of this structure, then it would have been okayed for it to be a social space for the upper floor of that building. Yes,
Has
sir.
it been so okay?
Yes, it's been through the permitting process, they've CO'd. Yes, sir.
I hope so. Are Emily and Hunter gonna be here tonight?
I seriously doubt it.
As it's been permitted to,
Yeah, ask her.
to begin the building and renovation, I wonder, is that what it's been permitted for?
So the Austin building is already, it's, where swag is on the bottom floor, and then the residential units are up top,
Right.
and the shared, I'm gonna call it a common space. But all of that has been through our permitting processes, yes, sir. Cause it was just internal, internal work that they were doing to the building. And so all of that went through our commercial building permit process.
That's what Mr. Lawson used to
And
have
it-
his show in there.
That's completed and somebody said it's inhabitable.
We have stamped it and said, go forth.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Tony and Connie bargained for this.
But
Excuse me for asking.
Was that approved by the committee, Ray?
Yeah.
It was?
I don't know.
Was that approved by the
Did that come
committee?
through public safety?
No, this is
No,
not. It's because it's a special retail less than 7 days, so it doesn't have to go through the
This is
committee.
my first time being invited to our hearing
To
about Emily and
Emily
Hunter's.
and
Yeah.
That sounds exciting.
Brandon bring his A game tonight.
Yes, sir, I will. All right, my next applicant will be for Lucky Convenience LLC, DBA The Lucky Dollar Mart. They're applying for a special retail beer off premises only, retail table wine off premises only, located at 57 Crescent Ridge Road Northeast. This is a change of ownership.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Really? I didn't know he had that a long time.
Yes, sir.
A long time.
I think I used to buy beer there when I was 16.
Well, there's been some Middle Eastern people running it for a long time. I don't know who's doing it.
Yes, sir. I can, actually, they should be here tonight as well now.
I
so
think Mike Bennett still owns the building.
Probably. That's what I was thinking.
Now, this did come before public safety, right?
No, man. So only thing that comes to public safety will be on premises, like your restaurants and your lounge and stuff.
Okay, no, I met with the owner, so
Oh,
that's
okay,
why
okay.
it sounds familiar. Okay, yes, this is,
On Rush
Steve,
Lane?
he owns some other stores. It's just a change of ownership.
Change
like
ownership,
Steve
yes,
said,
ma'am.
yeah. Steve, Sam, Steve, yeah.
That's changed ownership.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. And then my last,
More alcohol in my district.
my last applicant will be SPN3 LLC, DBA The Extra Mile Chevron. They are applying for retail beer off premises only, retail table wine off premises only for 4551 Ricebourne Road Northeast. And this is a change of ownership.
Right before Taco Casa.
Yes, sir. And that's all I have tonight.
Okay. Thank you. Paramedics.
Yes, sir. I don't have anything for today, but we will be asking for an executive session regarding economic development.
I want to thank the city staff, and I'm thinking you, Chief Clark, called me, and after that, torrential, that rain we had, and I appreciate you calling me, updating me about that, and then it was quickly, taken care of, and I just can't say enough about our employees. I didn't leave my house all weekend, and it was great because I just needed to not leave my house all weekend. But anytime we have like the events like we've had, I'm just so impressed with how our employees are just, they're on it. They take care of it. First of all, their knowledge of how to take care of it, like the manhole in Claymont and one on Alberta Parkway, you said was going about 2 feet up in the air. But I just want to hope I hope our employees that even sinkholes and all these things, you just are pretty smart people, to know what to do, how to go about it, and you don't mess around, you get it done. And I'm just grateful that we've got such great employees that are out there in times when, like I said, when I can stay home and not leave my house for the weekend. As soon as something happens, like an event like we had, you guys are out there, and it's noticeable. I got several calls from Claymont folks thanking the city and how quick they responded, and you don't get a lot of those. You usually get major complaints about the flooding in your time, and I think that they see you out there and they know the conditions you're out there and trying to make it safe for everybody. And I just hope everyone knows in events like that just how much you are truly appreciated.
Thank you. And first, Locke Captain Cronster did a really good job of making sure we were organized and ready. And within 3 or 4 minutes, when you sent me that text, I know both Chief Clark and Kimberly Michael were on it.
Yes.
And that makes you really proud.
Yeah.
I appreciate you sharing that.
It's just so true, and I talked about it on my show yesterday. We were talking about, with my guests, we were talking about how you decide what you're gonna do in life, what kind of profession you're gonna have. And it led to municipalities somehow, and I think that the complexity of the knowledge that falls under running a city, you know, it's overwhelming, really. And when you stop to think about it, that this one person did this and this one that, you know, and knowing how to do it and correct it, I'm always impressed.
What our nearly 1,400 people do every day is amazing. It truly is. We're very blessed.
And Chief, I appreciate your call so quick. All righty. So did you say we have these executive session?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any other department comments or announcements before we go to Mr. Holmes? All right, Scott.
Good afternoon, council. I am up towards the top of page 2, where you'll be authorizing the mayor to execute a reimbursable assistance agreement pursuant to the city of Tuscaloosa's Faceless Storefront Improvements Program. This came to you in project on the 18th. Now we're going to skip down past almost towards the bottom of the page. We're on page 23. You'll be rejecting all bids for municipal wrecker service. This comes to you from purchasing. This was a bid for our city contract wrecker. Upon receiving those bids, we felt like the city would be better served by doing multiple as-needed contracts to allow us to utilize the fastest and most effective wrecker service at the
Isn't that
time.
what we've done in the past, Mr. Strong?
We have
Haven't we
done,
handled it by multiple?
yes, sir. I think we have had a good idea and tried multiple different ways of doing this. It can get complicated.
Question.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
If we call one of these records, Chief, and I know sometimes they don't get in a hurry when they're needed, do we mark them off the list, or what are we doing about that?
That will be covered through their contract. We'll also, by having an as-needed, we'll also be able to, rather than having one contract service that may take hours, if you call somebody and they say, well, we're out working a wreck on the interstate, it'll be 2 hours, then we can go to the next one. And it allows them to better serve our citizens. On page 24 through 28, you'll be abandoning a certain utility right-of-way easement located at lot number 4 in the Skyland Promenade. This came to you in projects on the 25th. On page 29, you'll be authorizing the retainage of Capital Park Title LLC for professional title services for the University Boulevard East Improvements Project. This came to projects on the 25th. On page 30, you'll be authorizing the mayor to execute a commercial operator agreement with Epic Aviation, Inc. for flight training services at the Tuscaloosa National Airport. This again came to projects on the 25th. On page 31, you'll be authorizing the chief financial officer to draw drafts for the University Boulevard East Improvements Project right-of-way acquisitions. These are additional properties for that project. On page 32 through 33, you'll be authorizing amendment number 9 to fiscal year general fund reserve for future improvements fund budget. This came to you in finance on the 18th. On, I'm sorry, the other one was covered by Mr. Pons, and that's actually the end of mine. Any questions for me?
Questions for Scott?
Thank you, council.
Thank you. Projects, finance, public safety, and then council meeting at 6. Historic preservation committee meeting tomorrow at 5 o'clock. And there's also, I meant to say, just a huge congratulations to you, Councilor Busby, for the gauntlet. Visit Tuscaloosa came on my show today, and we talked about the growth and how it will just continue. You know, how everything sometimes starts local, and then it will then become statewide and regional and south across the country. And that's a lot of hard work and a record number of people, right?
Record number of people?
Well, the only thing I miss about it being over with, I ran both the commercials with the juniors and the adults every day, and I just loved watching it every time. It's like seeing it for the first time. So
There'll be some good eye candy. Thank you very much. And there, if you want to see some young Americans that'll make you proud, come out there and watch those people.
right. Thanks. And I missed the Wama Fest Raven this year. I went last year, and I was how did it go? I know the weather probably affected it some.
It did just a little, but it was still a great event. And so I just want to give a shout out to Samara Snoddy for putting together such a great event and all of the board members. And thank you to the mayor and the city council for your support. So it was a great event. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. So hopefully next year you all can come.
I know I was there last year and it was so crowded you couldn't walk through it. So,
Was it beach?
so that's great. And it's really a great event. One of the special things we do in the city. Okay, is there a motion we go into executive session?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, Scott?
Yes, sir. As your city attorney and attorney licensed to practice law in the state of Alabama, I can certify that this executive session is to discuss preliminary negotiations involving matters of trade or commerce in which the governmental body is in competition with private individuals or entities or other governmental bodies in Alabama or other states or foreign nations, the discussions of which would have a detrimental effect upon the competitive position of a party to the negotiations or upon the location, retention, expansion, or upgrading of public employee or business entity in the area served by the governmental body if disclosed outside of executive session.
Okay, we have a motion second. All in favor,